Listen, if you're a musician that keeps on saying, yeah, I'll just message them instead of actually sending paperwork, then this video is going to save you tons of awkward conversations and tons of money. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever in the world you may be. My name is Joe Davis, and today we're going to be talking about the one thing that every musician hates, but every musician needs: paperwork. But I'm not talking boring paperwork, I mean money paperwork. I'm talking invoices, quotes, receipts, deposits, and contracts. These 5 concepts are the concepts that separate people who just do music on the side as a hobby from actual industry working professionals. Now, before I continue, you can check the progress bar, the description, or the pinned comment down below for timestamps for this video, just in case you know something and you want to skip ahead. Guys, please disregard the fact that my chain clasp is in the shot. I didn't realize that that was there until I watched the video back. My apologies. Now, let's break it down. First, we're gonna talk about quotes. Now, before you start any job, you need a quote. A quote or a quotation is a document that outlines the estimated price of a service or a product before any work is done. In simple terms, it's literally just a document that tells you how much something's going to cost. That is all it is. And it helps both sides agree on the pricing structure before any work is started. Now, I'm going to use one of my quotes as an example so you can see what it would look like, but every good quote should include these things: your name or your business name, the quote number, the artist address or a business address if you have one, the date that the quote was issued, the name of the client and the contact information of the client, a description of the service that you're offering, the price of the service that you're offering, the total cost of everything put together, any notes if you have it, and an expiration date. Now, this is the most important thing on the quote besides the money. Now, this protects you from a situation where if you were to give a client a quote and then 3 years down the line, the client comes back to you with the same quote saying, hey, this is a quote that you gave me for XYZ service. Therefore, I am entitled to this amount of money. No, you're not, because my prices have done that since I gave you that quote. Now remember, a quote is not a contract, it's just an offer. After the client accepts the offer, then you can move forward. And a lot of people have reached out to me saying, oh my gosh, your quotes look so businessy and all nice and stuff like that. Bro, Canva is free. I didn't use Canva to make mine, but Canva is free. You can go on Canva and have access to thousands of templates of quotes in front of you, literally. Now, up next we have contracts. Now, this is one of the things that I have heard so many musicians do not have, and I'm just like, how are you able to operate? Granted, I have definitely lost a lot of gigs because of the fact that I did not have contracts in place, but that is besides the point. Now, a contract is basically just a written agreement between 2 people, service provider and service receiver, that basically outlines the responsibilities of each person, the work that's supposed to be done, how much is supposed to get paid, and what happens if something goes wrong. Now, the primary purpose for contracts is to cover you in case anything were to go wrong, or if there's any sort of misalignment in what you believe should be right and what the client believes should be right. Now, contracts are comprised of something that we call clauses. Clauses are basically just sections of information that outline a specific rule or condition of the agreement. Now, every contract is different, and every contract is going to have different types of clauses depending on what kind of contract it is. But I'm going to show you an example of a contract that you can kind of build off of just as a foundation so that you can see the necessary clauses that I put in my contracts. Now, at minimum, the contract should have the names of both parties, the scope of the work, aka what you're doing and what you're not doing, payment terms, so the total amount and the deposit that's required. We're going to get into deposits in a second, but they're very important, and the due date for the deposit and the payment. It should also have deadlines so that you know when you should complete your end of the bargain, or if it's not one of those kind of projects, then it should have like a performance date or something like that. If it's a recording, then it needs to have an ownership or a usage clause just so that you know who owns what. It also needs to have constellation. It also needs to have cancellation terms, and these can be spread across multiple different clauses. And then signatures. That is it. Now, story time. It was around November 2024, and I engaged in business with a certain company, which shall remain nameless. For context, I make social media content on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all of that fun stuff. I'm a musician, as you can probably tell from the title of the video, and because of the fact that I make social media content, a lot of people come to me asking me about promotion. Now, I don't like to do promotion work. I don't want that to kind of become the focus of what my account is. I don't want to just be like a party promoter or stuff like that. But one of my friends came to me basically saying, yo, there's a party coming up that one of my brethren is a part of, and want to gather some people who are kind of in the space in social media. So would you be down to do some promotional work? Now, I thought about it, And I said, sure. And the agreement was I was going to be getting a certain amount of money every time I posted. I was going to do 4 posts and I was going to get paid after each post. So I did the first post and I didn't get any money. So I was like, yo, any update on the funds? And he was just like, yeah man, cool. You get it after the second one. So I was just like, okay, cool, fine. I post the second one. Yo, what going on with the funds? And he's just like radio silence. So I was just like, interesting information. It wasn't an egregious amount of money, but the principle is there and it is still something, So I follow up this guy, I follow him up. This isn't my friend now. I've skipped the whole middleman process and I'm talking to the owner of the business. And I'm talking to him, I'm like, yo, where's my money? And then doesn't answer. So then I'm like, all right, cool. I need to formalize this. So I wrote an email basically saying, yo, fork over the funds. And then he decided, oh, I'm going to come back now. Oh yeah, sorry, you're going to get the funds at XYZ time. So I said, all right, cool. XYZ time come. And you know what never come? The money. Guys, this happened in November 2024. I have not seen my money. It is March 2026. I say that to say, I didn't write a contract and that was completely my responsibility and my fault. So I can take accountability for that. But just so that you guys don't end up in a situation like that, write contracts. And the thing is, contracts aren't supposed to be a thing that ruins friendships or anything like that, because even if you're working with family, if it's business, you need a contract. It doesn't create distrust or anything. And if somebody starts preeing you for writing them a contract, then that says a lot about them. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, we're on to the next thing now, deposits. Now, deposits are basically upfront payments that are made. They can be like a percentage of the full sum or the full sum upfront, but they're made so that the client can secure your service. Basically, it just shows commitment on your side and reserves that date or that project for the client. And they're mainly used to and they're usually used to protect professionals from last-minute cancellations. Deposits should usually be non-refundable or clearly defined, and they need to be written into the contract, as I had mentioned earlier. Deposits basically protect you from situations that, like, if you book like a certain amount of time for a project and they don't give you a deposit, they can't come to you the day before the project is supposed to happen and be like, actually, this isn't happening anymore. And you have so many other gigs that you could have taken in that time. And you could say, oh, the contract should be legally binding, and therefore, no. Because the contract can be legally binding all at once, and the cancellation clause can say something that the client can hang on to, and you still don't get any money and you've booked off the time for the client. So get a deposit just so that if anything were to happen, you're not broke. So now invoices. Invoices are how you actually get paid. Invoices are formal requests for payment that you give a client after the service is completed. Or you can make an invoice for a deposit before you get the deposit money. Now I want you guys to listen to me. Come closer. Come even closer. Even closer. Okay, all right. Back up. Invoices are not WhatsApp messages. They are not Instagram direct messages. They are not iMessages. They are not Telegram messages. Invoices are formal requests for payment that should be sent via email or actual mail if you want to be extra. Now, invoices are usually structured very similarly to quotes, except it just has payment information on it. But the most important thing about an invoice to remember that you need is the invoice due date. If the money does not get paid by XYZ, then I have the right to SUE. But I mean, if it's not that deep, then it's not that deep. Why? But if it's not that serious, then you can talk to the client and stuff like that. But that's what the contract is for. The contract determines what happens if payments are late as well. So that's it for invoices. We're now going to go on to receipts, which is basically the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Now you guys go shopping, right? I'm assuming you've been into a supermarket or a store of some sort before, right? That little white slip that you get when you cash out, that's called a receipt. Now, in the music business world, receipts are literally the exact same thing. It just shows proof that you have been paid. That's all it is. Now, receipts aren't mandatory, but they're good to have for like bookkeeping and records and stuff like that. And if you have a registered business as a company, they help for tax purposes. So yeah, those are the 5 main pieces of paperwork that you need to have with every job that you do as a musician. All of them go straight through. Now, if you're missing any one of these, you're leaving yourselves exposed. I am going to report you for public indecency. Anyways, I'm also releasing a PDF companion or a resource to go along with this video, just so that if you want to refer back to it but don't want to have to watch this full thing again, then you can refer to that. It also goes a little bit more in detail with some of the key terms that I mentioned in the video, as well as gives you an example of each of the different types of paperwork that I've mentioned. Now, I really hope that you got value out of this video. If you did get value out of this video and want to learn more about the music business or music in general, then hit the subscribe button. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, then leave a dislike and let me know why in the comment section down below. I should be doing a lot more of this kind of content coming up, so if you want to stay tuned, So if you want to hear more, please stay tuned. And just remember, music is creative, but paperwork is administrative. You can still be kind, you can still be talented, you can still be easy to work with, but you can still put your foot down and make sure that you cover yourself for any situation. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Take care, stay safe, and that's the vibe. Whoosh.